Hello, welcome back for Best in Beauty 2025 Part 2 Makeup Edition. As long as things have gone according to plan, I should have already uploaded Part 1 a few days ago. If you haven't already watched it, but you want to, it will be, if it doesn't pop up here on the screen somewhere, it will be automatically linked in the description box, at the bottom of the description box down below. Check that out if you're interested in hearing about my favorite skincare, bath and body care, fragrances of the year, if you care about that. Today we are talking strictly makeup and all the categories of makeup. If I was really smart, I would have split this up into a series and broken it up a little bit more. It's too late. We're here now. We're doing all the categories in one. I will be as succinct these will be the quickest mini reviews I can possibly manage. I promise, because I know regardless of how granular or how expedient I am, this is going to be a long video because we have so many products to talk about. So let's just get right into it. Everything that I talk about in this video will be linked down below. I'm gonna regret that, but it will be down there. Any link with a little asterisk next to it is a commission link. That means I make an itty bitty teeny tiny commission off your purchase if you shop through that link. They're not mandatory to use those links, they're just there if you want them. It won't hurt my feelings if you don't use them, but if you find them useful, that's great. But you deserve to know where your money's going and you should be comfortable with that. So just wanted to say that up front. With that being said, you can take a little peek down there and see what products I'm going to talk about today, so you can kind of skip around as you see fit if there are only specific ones you want to hear about, because again, I know this video is going to be long. And all that being said, let's get into what I think about said products. There will also be timestamps down below. I'm not going to do timestamps for each specific product because I already have so much on my plate for editing. At the time I'm filming this, I haven't even finished editing part 1. I will do timestamps for each category, but not each product. Hopefully that feels fair for everybody. Okay, anyway, let's get right into it. Let's start off with Complexion. Let's start off with base products. First of all, if you, like me, found yourself in need of a replacement for your favorite gripping, affordable, grippy makeup primer, may I present to you the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Clingy Serum Primer. This is the closest I think I've found to the e.l.f. Power Grip. It gives me It's very comparable results at an even more affordable price point. I've been using it so much since I got it. I don't remember how many months ago that was. I got this at the same time as a different drugstore gripping primer because I was testing out options now that I'm not going to be purchasing the e.l.f. one anymore. And of the two that I purchased at the same time to test out, this was the clear winner, and honestly, I don't even feel a need to test out more because I'm so happy with this. So, highly recommend this Wet n Wild primer. It's the one I used. It actually helps my makeup last so well. One thing I will say though, it does claim to have 5% niacinamide, so if your skin is sensitive to niacinamide, you might not like that. But if you're like me and you have like combo oily skin or like really oily skin, that is a huge benefit. So I recommend this. I feel really comfortable recommending this to you guys. I like it a lot. Let me actually keep my list in front of me so I can stay on track. Here's a good one. They're all good ones. It's the best in beauty 2025. What is wrong with me? Haus Labs foundation in an actual skin shade. You guys may recall if you tuned in for Best in Beauty 2023, the white shade of the foundation made my favorites of 2023 list. I still love this. I still use this actively all the time. I used it today. I mixed these two together for my base today. I was feeling a bit of a vampier base. That's typically when I reach for this, is if I want something more vampy, gothic, maybe a little theatrical. white foundation. Also, last year, Best in Beauty 2024, their concealer made the list. And now this year, I'm proud to say I did pick up a pretty good shade match. It's not my favorite foundation shade match. I feel like it's not exactly my right shade match, but it is close enough. It is close enough. I'm not confident that either of the shades on either end of this would be my perfect match either. Maybe I'd have to mix a couple together. But again, I can mix it with the concealer, which is a damn good match for me. This is the shade 01 Fair Neutral. Excellent. And or the white foundation if I need some adjusting. I did get the shade 040 Fair Neutral, and it is pretty damn good, just not exactly right. But anyway, the formula itself, stunning, beautiful. Every good thing I had to say about this also applies to this. It's just like so fluid and like serum-like. It's got that kind of, if you recall, one of the things I loved about the LYS foundation, which was a favorite foundation of mine for a long time and seems to have been discontinued. In fact, I think all the core LYS base products that they initially came out with have been or are being discontinued, and I'm very sad about it because they were, that concealer in particular, their original concealer, so beautiful. It has been replaced by this. This is now my favorite concealer. But between these two products, actually, I see so many similarities between, not like they're the same, but I mean, I like the same things about the Haus Labs base products that I liked about the LYS one. They feel very skin caring as you apply them. They're super comfortable to wear. They move beautifully with the skin. What I will say is these formulas do feel like a more refined version of the LYS formulas. Like, compared to this foundation, that LYS foundation feels a little bit heavy, and it's a lot more noticeably like dewy, that formula was. This one has a very hydrating feel and finish without ever being too much. It doesn't feel like too much, doesn't look like too much. It's so lightweight. Just like very much a my skin but better feel. And another foundation that I feel very similarly about is the newer Makeup by Mario foundation. This is the Surreal Skin Natural Finish foundation in the shade 1C, which is the same shade that I have their original foundation formula in. It's a really good match for me. It's potentially my best foundation match. So I decided to run with it again for this formula. I really liked the original foundation. It has been my favorite foundation since it came out. I still have it. I'm almost done with it, which is crazy. I guess I'm not in everybody's camp on that. I didn't realize how polarizing that first Makeup by Mario foundation formula was for people, but I can see where people who don't like it are coming from. And I will say, I do kind of agree that this one feels more like one a makeup artist would formulate. It feels a bit more cosmetically elegant than the first one did. But again, I do love that one. That is a much more hydrated finish. It's got like a creamy consistency. Whereas this one, much like the Haus Labs one, is thinner. It's very liquidy, it's very fluid, and it just kind of goes on so smooth. It's like a nice kind of veil on the skin. I think these both claim to be medium to full coverage. A thing about me, I'm gonna sheer that bitch out. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how full coverage a foundation claims to be. I'm gonna sheer it out. I just prefer as little product on the skin as possible when it comes to foundation, concealer, what have you. So while it's nice that I can build these up to a higher coverage if I want, because every once in a while I'm feeling that kind of look, right? They also do sheer out beautifully. I feel like these are both really versatile formulas. Again, very comfortable to wear, moves well with the skin, but it's not like it's like gathering in lines and creasing or caking up and getting weird. These are both very much my speed when it comes to a kind of like light to medium coverage base, just like a really lightweight. You can still see all my moles and stuff peeking through. My skin still looks like skin, just a little bit evened out, just a little bit more. I don't want to use the word perfected, but you know what I mean. We'll say refined. A refined skin. How about that? And last but not least, for actual like base products, also from Makeup by Mario, the setting spray. I was so pleasantly surprised by this. I was not expecting to like this as much as I do, let alone for it to become a favorite. This has been my favorite setting spray for months. I think for the better part of the year, if I'm not mistaken. I think I must have gotten this in late spring, early summer. This is the Surreal Skin Soft Setting Spray. I think, if I remember correctly, it claims a 16-hour wear or something. You will never see me wearing my makeup for that long. I'm so sorry about it. I can't do it. But if we get to like 6 hours, sure, I can, it's fine, whatever. That's actually not true because I have been wearing more makeup to work recently. And when I'm on the days that I'm there, I'm there for like 8 to 9 hours. So anyway, but I'm also not typically using setting spray or primer on those days. Oddly enough, I'm really flying by the seat of my pants when I'm getting ready for work in the morning. I cannot lie. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. This is great. This is really great. I am one of those people who sandwiches, does like the sandwich method with my setting spray. I don't do it between every layer of product because that's just a lot. I feel like your setting spray is not really working for you if you feel a need to do all that. That's just my opinion, man. But like I'll get all of my like creams and liquids on and I will do a layer of setting spray before I set with powder. And then I'll use my setting powder and some of my powder products. And then I'll do another generous misting with my setting spray, and that does a lot of work for me. And I do find when I use this on content filming days, because that's really the only time I'm bothering, my makeup lasts me all frickin' day. All frickin' day. So I've been really happy with this, and I like that it's a soft set and it doesn't like mattify my skin. I don't really want mattifying and blurring and all that stuff. I just want my makeup to last me, but I want to retain the skin look that I have carefully crafted, you know? So I like this. I like the effect it has on my skin, and I like what it does for the wear of my makeup. Highly recommend. Next up, contour/bronzer. This is an interesting one. I actually have another Makeup by Mario. I also have some honorable mentions throughout this video. There are some products that are basically honorable mentions from last year, which is to say, if I had gotten to know them more before I was putting together my 2024 Best in Beauty list, they absolutely would have made that list, but for whatever reason, maybe I didn't get them until like late November, early December, and so I didn't spend enough time with them to comfortably call them a favorite. Or they came out in 2024, but I didn't try them until 2025. But if I had tried them in 2024, if I had gotten to know the product in 2024 before doing those videos, because last year I did Best in Beauty 2024 short form. I broke up all the categories into shorts. Is that what they're called on YouTube? Yes. YouTube shorts. They should have been on the 2024 Best in Beauty list, but alas, they were not. But I loved them this year, so they're gonna shout out here. One of those is also from Makeup by Mario, the Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. It's essentially a liquid version of the Skin Enhancer. Beloved Skin Enhancer, still a favorite bronzing product of mine. And I'm here for that. I have found this so deeply useful. It is kind of like how the Makeup by Mario, the Soft Sculpt Skin Enhancer, isn't just like a cream bronzer, it's like a finishing balm of sorts. This has a very similar versatility to it. It's just another really beautiful, sheer, slightly pearlescent bronzing apparatus that I deeply enjoy. And then for contour, here's one that I had a bit of it was a real roller coaster, my experience with this. Haus Labs Shaping Balm. I mentioned, I don't remember which video it was that I mentioned this, that I was talking about this in. My initial impression, this was not good. I was trying to work with it the way that I would my usual cream contour, which is Intuition from Ritual Defeat. That's the contour I used today. It's my go-to. It's my all-time favorite. We'll never not have that one. And its Ritual Defeat creams are more like dense creams. They take some warming up. It's just the perfect kind of consistency for what I'm looking for in a contouring product, and it's also the perfect contouring tone for my skin. This was really interesting. So I thought there was something wrong with me, and turned out there was. It was very much a user error thing, because everyone really loved this and was shouting from the rooftops about how amazing it was. And I was watching all these videos of people using it and going like, oh yeah, that looks simply amazing. I must try it. Let me get it in my hands. I got the lightest shade Profile, which I think is part of the issue. It's not exactly the right tone for me. It's a little green. I think if I'd gotten the second lightest shade, which I don't remember the name of off the top of my head, I would have been a little happier with the way it looked. It's not such a big deal. I can definitely make it work. It's passable on my skin. And again, if I'm doing kind of a more like theatrical, ghoulish look, it's actually kind of a plus to have a very greeny looking contour. In the year of Wicked for Good and Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, more green, more green in my makeup wherever I can get it, honestly. So that's fine. I've made my peace with that. And the consistency, it really is more of a balmy texture, which the way that I tend to apply my contour is I basically underpaint with it. I apply it before foundation. I put my contour on first, and then other products go on over top. So I don't necessarily want a balm in my contour areas because it's going to kind of slip and slide around, right? Especially as I blend over top of it with other products. And I was finding that this was doing some slipping and sliding the first few times I used it, and I was just getting really frustrated. It just needs, it's because it's not a firm cream. It doesn't hold, it's not going to hold, it needs a little help to hold its form the way the Ritual Defeat one doesn't. The Ritual Defeat one doesn't need a lot of working with. This one just needs a minute. I have found, for me, this is all personal experience, right? And if you have an oilier skin type, you might want to retain the information I'm giving you. It needs a minute to sit on the skin and kind of dry down in a way before you start going in with other stuff, if you apply your contour the way I do. If you apply your contour over your foundation, you might not have that issue. In fact, with the I think that's the way I'm going to use this going forward, because I was worried when I applied it over foundation, because that was how I used it the first couple times I used it. Something was wrong with me when I was first testing out this product. Applying it over foundation, I might have been worried that it was going to move product around underneath it, and it didn't seem to do that. So that might be the preferable way. You might find that to be the preferable way to use this product. Long story short, initially, I wasn't thrilled with it, but now I get it. Now I appreciate her. Now I deeply enjoy this. I think it's a really neat contouring product. That's really all I've got in the contour and bronzing section. Blush. Blush is such a huge category. Oh my god. Okay, first of all, I almost knocked over literally so much shit. Let's talk about an honorable mention that should have gone on the 2024 list. LYS's, I cannot tell what the full name of this product is. This is their cream blush stick. So now they have 2 cream blush formulas. They're both really nice. If you want something with a more creamy consistency and something that's more like glowy, because their original blush formula in the triangular pans is it's very, very firm, and it's a true satin finish. It's actually, I was gonna say, because of how firm it is and how it kind of needs that warming up, and then it's very workable. It's not, their original blushes aren't dissimilar to the Ritual Defeat ones, but they're actually, now that I think about it, pretty different. The LYS ones almost feel putty-like when you go to dip into them. So if you're looking for something more creamy and smooth, Blush Stick's really nice. She's very glowy. as well. And pigmented. I thought their original blush formula was pigmented. This bitch will get you into trouble if you're not careful. Oh, it's so pretty. I got the shade Focused. I don't remember when exactly I feel like I didn't buy this until 2025, but it came out in 2024. If I had tried it in 2024, it easily would have made Best in Beauty 2024, for sure. Without a doubt. I feel very confident about that. Let's actually get into the blushes that were featured in the first video you guys saw from me this year, which was me swatching and demoing all of the Glaminatrix cream and powder blush duos. They have the 3 colorways. There's Muted Mocha. Oh, let's see if I can get these open. Remember how that was such an issue when I was doing that video? Oh god. Muted Mocha. Yep. When did I put such a huge divot in that powder? I don't even remember. That looks crazy. Think Pink, which is the easiest one to open consistently. Barbie Pink for you. Really, really lovely. And Berry Nice. Oh, that opened up too. Maybe I've loosened them up with... Again, there's a divot in this powder too. Probably from trying to get this bitch open. This is the duo that has given me the most issue application-wise. Specifically the cream side of it. This cream is almost more... You might be able to tell as I swatch. It's more of a balmy consistency, whereas the creams in the other 2 duos are well and truly creams. These swatches are gonna suck. Also, the Muted Mocha one is the most sheer. Ignoring the LYS swatch, here are those 3. Yeah, there's something about the Berry Nice cream that is so much more like tacky. Noticeably tacky compared to the other 2 creams. The powders in all 3, very, very beautiful, very smooth. The Muted Mocha one has like a golden sheen to it, but the other 2 do not. They're just like a smooth pigment in a powder. I really enjoy these. I just think the difference in consistency in the Berry duo is worth, specifically the cream formula in the Berry duo is worth noting, because you might find that frustrating to work with the same way that I did when I was testing those out for the first time. Now that I'm aware of it, it is easy enough for me to navigate, but I wouldn't want anyone going into that blind, that's all. I enjoy this as a concept. I think they should come out with these duos in all the colors they possibly can. I know for some people, duos aren't actually the most convenient thing. So I would also be interested to see if they eventually break these up and just sell single cream blushes and or single powder blushes and go about it that way, because this was a drop, I think, at the beginning of this year, the end of last year, actually, if I remember correctly. And they haven't, like, expanded the range at all since then. The 3 colors they went with are fun, and I think they covered all their bases pretty well, but there's a lot of shades they could give us in these that I think they would do it beautifully. That's all I'm saying. In the realm of creams and powders you can pair, let's talk about Unearthly Cosmetics. I tested out the Paranormal Plush in the shade Wilted Blossom earlier this year. Oh, it's just lovely. It's like a smooth, beautiful cream, and as you blend it, you can feel it turning into like a more powdery consistency. It's like, it looks luscious and creamy in pan, and when you dip into it, it's like a melty, creamy, lovely texture. And then as you apply it, it kind of mattifies down and it becomes this soft, blurry, lovely, lovely cream powder formula. This is like exactly what a cream formula should be, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, man. So delightful. And their powder blushes, also so beautiful. I have the shade Mystic, which pairs really well with Wilted Blossom, unsurprisingly. I've enjoyed this blush formula so much, I actually did also pick up the Gothic Romance blush palette from them, and I used it for the first time today. I dipped into these two shades on this end. Really lovely. I'll give you more complete thoughts on this blush palette at a later date, but I thought I would mention that because I'm not really a blush palette kind of person generally anymore. There is another caveat to that coming later. But that's how much I enjoy this formula. It's very, very smooth, very, very glowy. It's like the kind of blush you would pop on if you don't also want to have to bother with a highlighter because it's got enough glow on its own. But it also has this kind of like really interesting blurring quality. It's the kind of blush you pop on when you want like a really effortlessly ethereal kind of look. Love, love, love. Love, love, love so much. Another powder blush formula that I feel like fits into much the same category are these ones from Singe Beauty, the Evocative Silk Blushes. I have the shades Riveting Rhubarb, love, and Timid Tomato. Love, 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 love. Oh, they're so smooth. Again, so glowy. You can't really, in the case of these and the Unearthly blush, actually, let me show you. You can't really tell in pan by looking at them that there's any kind of a luminosity there. They're not like a blush lighter by any means. They almost just kind of look matte or maybe a little satiny, like there's a little something something there. They have a gorgeous sheen to them. They kind of remind me a lot, all of these actually, of the Becca blushes, but not quite so noticeably glowy. Just kind of like, they're like, puka. They're like a really miraculous finish on the skin. Again, really great for that ethereal kind of look. It's a very one and done kind of cheek. I will say the Singe ones, I think, are a little easier to overdo. They are tones that, like, when you, depending on how you apply them, because again, they can sheer out really beautifully. You guys know me, that's how I prefer to go about, and I love to layer my blushes. I have a ridiculous amount of blushes on my face right now. I love a good blush cocktail. So typically when I'm applying a powder blush, I've already got liquid and or cream blush on underneath. These are tones that you can have be like a natural flush or a bold, like when people look at you, they'll be like, oh, she's wearing blush. I've mentioned Ritual Defee's name enough times, I think, to warrant bringing this up. This is Moth. Oh my. This is actually one of the cream blushes I'm wearing today. I used Moth and I used Weeping Cherry from Ritual Defee, which you can consider an honorable mention as well. But I wore this so much this year. I picked up Moth, that one, in July of this year, and I have worn it. So you can see she's been used and abused. I've worn her so much. She's so beautiful. Really, really perfect blushy tone, in my opinion, for me. If you like a more like desaturated blush tone, which I have really, really deeply been enjoying. Again, I've been enjoying a really vampy kind of base in general this year, so I have been liking less saturated tones. On the opposite end of the spectrum for saturation, I did try Simi Haze for the first time this year. I have two blush products from them to think about. In my little stack here, I have the Powder Highlight, the Color Glaze, and their cream bronzer. The bronzer, I can't honestly call a favorite. It's the one product from them I've tried that I'm like, really beautiful consistency that I actually really deeply enjoy. I like the formula a lot. The color, I have the lightest one, I think. Yeah, Sycamore 01, the Skin Suede Melting Bronze Balm. It is very much a balm. Actually, not a cream. Somewhere in between, if I'm being honest. But it does have a very balmy look on the skin. Really beautiful, hydrated look. A glazy kind of look. The color is just wacky on me. It's like in the realm of bronze tones that should work on me, but it's just, it's yellow. It's yellow. More often than not, when I wore this year, as I was avidly testing it out, I found that having it on ruined my base because it skewed the color of my foundation. So take all that into consideration. If you see a shade that is going to work for you, I say go for it, because the formula really is lovely. And the shade is just not right for me. And it is the lightest shade. So we have blush products to talk about. Here's the other thing. It's like if you were a Lego kid, and I wasn't, but I get so much enjoyment out of this that I feel like if you were a Lego kid, you simply must be into that. How the compacts clear. That's so fun. Blushes. Simi Haze blushes. I am particularly into the color glaze. In fact, I want to pick up another shade of this. It is, again, really lovely, glowy, balmy formula. Hopefully camera and lighting are doing that justice. I am blind without my glasses on, and I'm relying on a viewfinder. So I can't really tell if you're seeing anything useful right now. But it's just like, first of all, love the color. Kind of like a purpley pink. This is the shade Lily. Very appropriate. There she is. Ah, love her. Love her so much. And it is a very similar consistency to the bronzing balm, in that it's kind of somewhere between a balm and a cream, but it just has that really slick, kind of lightly tacky, but nothing crazy, you know, consistency. And there is the blush duo, the Solar Tint Blush Duo. I got the shade Canyon, the Canyon colorway. Really, really lovely. We have like a denser cream on the left side, and then I think this is essentially the color glaze. Ta-da! Let me actually get closer for you. Also, if you see my bug bites on my arm, no you don't. God. You get on one side this really lovely, kind of denser cream. It behaves really similarly to the Unearthly cream blush in that it seems very creamy in pan, it feels very creamy as you're dipping into it, and then as it goes on and it blends, it turns into a blurry, powdery consistency. And then on the other side, this is very similar to the color glaze formula. So big fan of all that. Mild spoiler alert, we will be returning to the highlighter formula in the next category. Just so you know. I also tried Phytosurgeons for the first time. This is Wisp. This is Beloved Wisp. A soft, kind of desaturated, lilac-y shade. Oh, so lovely. So beautiful and cool tone. I will say, it does warm up quite a bit on my skin. I'm gonna be insane and swatch it in between these two Simi Haze shades from that blush duo. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, when I blend it on my cheeks, it can turn a little bit pink. But that is the actual color for you in between those two from the Simi Haze duo. Because I think that's fun. I have never claimed to be a professional swatcher, and what's funny about that is my swatching videos that I uploaded this year were the ones that you guys liked, like, the most. That is easily, I don't think I'm very good at swatching content, but you guys seem to like it, so I will do more of it in the future, if you want. This is delightful. This is like a really plush cream. It's almost kind of moussey, but then it just melts right down with the heat of your finger, if you're using your finger to apply your cream blush. It's just so delightful. I enjoy it so much. Also, from Lady Katie Jane Hughes, what do we call this? So sorry. It doesn't say on there. This is their blush stick. Oh, it's on the side. Soft Smudge Lip and Cheek from KJH brand. I got the shade Soft Berry. I enjoy it so much. I think it's so gorgeous. I'm going to swatch it at the base of my thumb. This is a really sturdy formula. This one's a little bit more dry to the touch, a bit more firm. It needs some warming up on the skin, preferably like in the palm of your hand if you apply your blush the way that I do, which I think I learned from her actually, was warming the product up in the palm of your hand and then going in with a brush into the product on your hand and picking it up. But you can see it's just kind of got like a blurry, velvety finish compared to a lot of these other blushes that I've swatched. You can adjust the finish though. You can mix it with things to get a more hydrated finish if you want. You can sheer it out or build it up as much as you want. And once you kind of get through the learning curve of actually using it the way that you like to use it, it's a really beautiful, versatile product. It's so obviously a product that a makeup artist formulated, and I love it. I love it so much. I think it's so beautiful. And she is sturdy, so once you've got her on, she's going to stay put. This is a really well-lasting blush. So I like a blush with some stick-to-itiveness, I guess, is what we're taking away from this. Which is like the polar inverse of the next blush product I have to talk about, which is from Haus Labs. This is their, what do we call this? I'm so sorry. Color Fuse Glassy Blush Balm in the shade Glassy Hibiscus. Glassy is correct. I really like a balmy blush formula, particularly if they're more sheer. I'll swatch it next. And I'm doing a really generous swatch, but you really can't sheer them out quite beautifully. In fact, let me just give it a little blend so you can see, because this is really lovely as like a base for other blushes, right? Totally is and can be used that way. I've used this multiple ways at this point, but what I really like to use this consistency of blush for is as like a topper over other blushes, cream or powders in particular. I really like using like a sheer balmy blush formula as a blush topper, like in place of a highlighter. Just gives you that smooth, gleamy, hydrated skin look without being like a blingy, shimmery highlighter. So if you like a more naturally glowy look, that is a technique I would recommend. The Makeup by Mario plumping blush veils, that's my favorite way to use those, and I do typically lean toward using this in a very similar way. But it can also be used just on its own, beautiful. If it's your only blush on for the day, beautiful. It might not last you throughout the whole day. Just a heads up. Blush tends to fade. Blush tends to be the first thing on the face to fade. And a balmier consistency is gonna do that to you. Probably, especially if you're like me and you touch your face a lot throughout the day. I know I shouldn't, but I forget and I do it. That's worth taking into consideration. It's great to use as a base for other blushes. If you like to do cream and then powder, great for that. It kind of gives you a nice glow underneath that comes through beautifully if you're going over top with powders. So yeah, again, beautiful, versatile cream blush stick. These exist on like polar opposite ends of the consistency spectrum, and I love them both. So before we talk about our last blush product, which I think is the most recent one to me of all these, if I'm remembering correctly, another honorable mention. Fenty Stop Making Such Beautiful Products Limited Edition Challenge. I also have this blush formula in the lightest of the 3 peachy shades that they came out with. I think there was like a spring or summer release in 2024 that featured this blush formula in 3 shades, and I have one of those. Also loved it. I do think it was an honorable mention in Best in Beauty 2024, as well as the baked highlighting formula. That should have absolutely remained a permanent part of their line. I have that highlighter in the lightest shade. It's so beautiful. Fenty, what's wrong with you? Keep these shades, create a permanent baked blush and baked highlighter line, and then also make this blush formula in every shade you possibly can. Please and thank you. These are an honorable mention because they're not available to pick up anymore, and it is upsetting. It's upsetting to me. Their blush lighters, when they do them, the baked formulas they do in general are absolute wins. Every time. The baked highlighter range that they came out with, I cannot believe. I do think you can still pick that one up somewhere. I have to double check that. But the fact that that was limited edition, and then it stuck around for such a long time, I kind of thought maybe they'll just make those highlighters permanent. They absolutely should. What a beautiful formula, what a beautiful range. But no. No. The highlighters went the same way as the blush lighters whenever they do the blush lighter formula. And last but not least, I can't do Best in Beauty 2025 without talking about Salt New York's collaboration with Hannah Louise Poston. The level of thought and care that went into this is unsurprising, of course. These creams do have a pretty different consistency than usual Salt New York cream formula, and I think that's a plus. And that's not because I don't like Salt New York standby cream formulas. They're not my favorite. They're not my go-tos, specifically in terms of the pigment level of them in conjunction with the way that I would prefer to apply cream blushes and highlighters. I got the lightest set of shades in this collaboration, which features the highlight shade Nimue, the blush, and then 3 of the blushes in the shades Teasel, Old Gum, iconic, and Waxwing. Sorry, I was having a hard time remembering what the purple shade was. These swatches will suck ass because, again, I'm by no means a professional swatcher, but I think these are really kind of difficult to swatch. But again, back to the topic of the increasing popularity of less saturated tones for blush and highlight and skin products, base products in general. These are just so lovely. I've been using this palette quite a bit to do my bare minimum face of makeup on work days, and it has been doing me well. I've also been using these blushes in conjunction with other blushes. You guys know, as I mentioned earlier, I like doing a blush cocktail. When I do my makeup, I like wearing an unreasonable amount of blush products on me. So these are just kind of the right kind of pigmentation to use as like my base blush shade that I then build my other colors over top of. And the highlighter is just really flashy and lovely. Congrats to Hannah on the well-deserved and beautifully executed collaboration. You guys did really fantastic. And that is, because there was a highlighter in that little quad, that primes us to move on to the next category, which is highlighters. We will start with the obvious one. This is probably the one you guys saw me wear the most this year. This is also a collaboration between Unearthly Cosmetics and Xander Bear, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. If it's not, I am sorry, Xander. You made a gorgeous highlight, though. The shade name is Ooze, and it shifts. It looks very green in pan. It shifts from, like, green to pink, but it's kind of like a plummy pink. It's, like, very noticeably, obviously green, but it's got a gorgeous, gorgeous flip to it. Make it nice and close. Swatching things in the worst possible places. Hopefully you can see that. See? There she is. Actually, that was a really bad place to swatch. I'm going to swatch it on the inside of my wrist. There we go. Really, really lovely. This was my first time trying the Unearthly Lowlighter formula. It's a really beautiful, intense, sparkly but not too sparkly. More or less, more like smooth, metallic pigment. And I love a green to a pink shift, so that flip is just so dreamy to me. I've been obsessed with that since I got it. It's like hard for me not to reach for it levels of love, love, love. So that's the first highlighter I wanted to talk about. Next one I wanted to talk about is this really lovely cream highlighter from KJH brand in the shade Light Pink. It doesn't really look super pink on the skin, in my opinion. Looks pretty pink there. Obviously, like a concentrated swatch is gonna look a little different from how it looks when I've actually applied it to my skin. It's just kind of like a really nice, soft pink highlighter, and once blended out on the skin, it almost just kind of looks like a soft platinum tone. Not quite silvery, still just like, because the pinkness of it, it's just kind of blends really nicely into the skin. Another pink highlighter. It's been like the year of pink highlighter, I guess. Simi Haze. This is the Soft Strobe Creamy Highlight Powder in the shade Rose Quartz. She is perfection. I do love a pink highlight. She is perfection. She is dreamy. And either on her own or layered over top of something like the KJH Cream Blush. Cream Highlight, sorry. Again, here's hoping you can actually see anything. I don't know. I won't know until later. Just like a really smooth strobing, not like super blingy, flashy highlight. Just really, really very lovely. And then I have 2 shades of the Diveroon highlighter formula to talk about. And I think that does it for highlighters. This was a light highlighter year. I've been more of a blush than a highlight girl, to be honest with you. In the last year or so, I don't find many highlighters as enticing as I used to, but I do have 2 shades from Diveroon to talk about. We have the shades Rainbow and Opal, which was actually a collaboration with Andromeda, s.andromeda on Instagram. Ooh. They look like really chunky, glittery highlights in pan, but they are actually pretty smooth. I was worried these were going to be too sparkly for me, especially given my tastes recently. And they're not intense sparkly highlighters, but something about them is just so flattering on the skin. It's almost just kind of like a wet look. They're still pretty smooth. The base of them is quite smooth, which I think is the saving grace. They are also quite pigmented. There's just something about them. They're almost more like a glistening wet look once you actually get them on the skin. And I deeply enjoy them. I really do. Would recommend. That does it for highlighters. Lip products are also a really huge category. Oh my goodness gracious. We have a lot to talk about with the lips. I'm not going to swatch things. I'm not going to swatch things. It's going to take, this video will take, I can't believe I've swatched as much as I have. This video is going to be 5 fucking years long. Anyway, first and foremost to lips, quick shout out to an honorable mention. This is by no means new to me, but I did rediscover this formula in the early part of this year. I have like 3 shades of these lip glosses on hand, and I went like, I haven't used those in a while. I remember liking them. I remember them being good. I should probably use them. And I went through the tube of this specific shade that I had so quickly. I could not stop myself from using it. This is the Kaleidos gloss in the shade Free Fall. Just like a really gorgeous, sheer, sparkly gunmetal. So flattering. So beautiful. The consistency of these is like so nice. So comfortable to wear. Highly, highly recommend. So that's an honorable mention for you. Let's talk about lip liners. I have 2 lip liner formulas to shout out. One of them is, I'm missing one. I have 2 shades of the ColourPop Lippy Pencils. Somehow I had never tried ColourPop lip or eyeliners prior to this year. So I have 2 shades of the lip pencils. I got the shades Beeper, which is like a nice, kind of cool, mauve-y shade. Just like a nice shade for me. And On Ice, which I thought was going to be like a dark red, but it's almost more like a really dark berry. I'm on the lookout for a nice dark red that looks red when you apply it and doesn't turn like berry or purple, you know, or like just looks kind of like a dark brown. I want like a true dark red. So I'm on the lookout for that. But for, you know, this serves me just fine. In the meantime, really nice, smooth formula. And then I just pulled out all my Unearthly liners because obviously I used them consistently. Best lip liner formula. I know not everyone's into wooden pencil liners. These glide on so smooth. Really pigmented. They're super affordable. Super affordable. And when you first get them, they're like a foot long, so they're gonna last you for forever. My most used shade in general is Easily Cursed. It's just like a perfect, it kind of mimics my Ritual Defeat contour shade. It's not as like rosy, but it's that perfect kind of cool taupey gray brown. But they did come out with 5 new shades of this formula this year, and I picked up 4 of the 5 new shades, and I enjoy all of them. But the 2 in particular that I use so much since I picked these up, which would have been right when they released them, are Doom, which is a deep, dark, cool kind of cafe brown, and Smoke, which is like a rosier, still not like a warm, it's like a desaturated mauvey rosy brown. Really nice alternative lip contouring shade for me. So these are my top 3 shades of this lip formula, I guess, but I love all of these. I have the black one. Love a black lip liner. Must have on hand. But yeah, best lip liner formula. Top recommendation every time for lip liner. I believe this year was when Masterclass dropped, right? The collaboration between, it's not a collaboration, it's a line. It's a line under the Blend Bunny umbrella. It's like an in-house brand thing called Masterclass that they did with Jordan Liberty, who's a makeup artist. It is a collaboration between them, but it's not like it's a collab collection. Okay. It is a line. It's a line within the line. Their lip oil gloss is such a lovely, comfy consistency. I have the shade Melrose. When you buy this shade specifically, 100% of the proceeds go to Trans Lifeline. So, highly recommend. Beautiful formula. There are a lot of really great shades, really interesting shades in the lineup. I was really drawn to this one, and you know, the proceeds being donated is a plus for me. So, deeply enjoy. The Bella Beauté Bar Sparkle Bombs, I got the shades Dimension, Nightmare, and Portal. Really love. I was very nervous about a product that exists somewhere between a lip balm and a lipstick, just in terms of the way I like to wear lipstick and all that. These work for whatever reason. These work really well, and they're like an interesting approach to the increasing popularity of the frosted lip, because these aren't they're sparkles suspended in pigment, right? In like a smooth, creamy base. And the way that the colors and the sparkles shift is just it's subtle and interesting, and like this feels like a nice, interesting luxe product, and it really does feel like a lip balm. I will say, and I've experienced this with 2 of the 3 shades. I think Portal doesn't really do this to me, but Portal blends more into the base of my lips because it's got a more of a soft, not quite pink, more of a mauvey base. But the shades Dimension and Nightmare, Dimension's like a brown and Nightmare's like a dark red, they create there's a noticeable barrier when they kind of meet that line on the inner rim of my lip where the moisture inside my mouth, and when they meet that, they create like it's not like the dreaded lip ridge, you know, but it's just a noticeable demarcation line where the balm shall not pass, okay? So you might have a bit of a harsh line on the inner rim of your lip to contend with that you might want to check on if you're wearing those. It's not a big deal. The lipstick I'm wearing on the inner portion of my lip right now was doing that to me earlier and probably is now, and I just can't see it. But worth noting if that's something that's going to bother you. I did get 2 more shades of the... Are these both lip sheers? I believe so. Well, one of them is an enchanted lip sheer, and I think the other one... Okay. I have an enchanted lip sheer from Ritual Defee and a forbidden lipstick from Ritual Defee in the shades Water Violet and Cryptic. This formula, both these formulas are so interesting. Ritual Defee lip products in tubes like this, right? They're lipstick and lip sheer formulas. They're so much more firm than you're probably going to be expecting them to be. Or maybe not if you're used to their other cream consistencies. But they don't melt on the skin or with like the warmth of your skin the same way their like cream pigments for the cheeks would. They're very, you can definitely feel the ever so slight tug at your lip as you're swiping them on, as you're applying them. So I'd bear that in mind. If you don't like a drier feeling lipstick formula, if you don't like something that sturdy, Ritual Defee lipsticks might not be for you. It's something I had to get used to when I was trying them for the first time, and now I appreciate them. I'm actually wearing a different lip sheer on as part of my lip combo right now. The Gourmand Girls Trapped collection featured an insane lineup of lip products, mostly lip glosses, but also 2 liquid lipsticks. I have 4 of the glosses. Love this formula. Gourmand Girls is a brand that I tried for the first time this year. I mentioned their lip oil was the first product I tried from them in part 1 of Best in Beauty 2025 when we were talking skincare. Puka is a really good gloss formula. If you want to try Gourmand Girls, but you don't want to invest in an eyeshadow palette right away, something like this might be a good place to start. Or their Watermelon Sugar Lip Oil, which I do think is sold out right now and has been for a while, and they're making me nervous. They're making me nervous. That's all I'm saying. We have to talk about cold sore gate. So back in September, I did experience, horror of horrors, terrible, painful, awful cold sores in both corners of my mouth. I don't know why. I'm not prone to them. I'm not prone to them, but when I do get them, it's because I'm very, very stressed, and this has been a very, very stressful year, and I experienced cold sores at multiple points this year, and this time in September was just particularly bad. Both corners of my mouth, horrible, horrible cold sores, and I had them for like a month because I was doing some stupid hybrid position bullshit at work that needed me to be more like guest facing at work, and so I was talking to people and smiling and so they just kept cracking open and they couldn't heal. So typically I would have them for maybe 2 weeks, but I had these cold sores in both corners of my mouth for like a month. It was horrible. It was just the worst. So there were 3 lip gloss formulas that did unfortunately fall victim to cold sore gate. I did suspect them to be contaminated at the time that was happening, and I had to throw them away. And this is the order in which I replaced them, essentially. So the first one that I felt a need to re-up when cold sore gate happened, the REM lip gloss formula is so good. It essentially has that, I specifically have the shade Fembot, by the way, gorgeous. The Fembot capsule collection situation was so smart. Good job, REM, and the gloss is so lovely. It's basically got like this really cool mauve-y base with like a fun blue shift. It's just like a liquefied lip balm consistency. Very, very smooth, buttery, comfortable to wear, non-sticky, just kind of feels like a lip treatment, if anything, as you're wearing it. But like really lovely, fun and shifty sparkle. I was so in love with it. I was wearing this obsessively at the time that cold sore gate happened. So I knew it was more than likely that the first tube of this I had was contaminated. And that was really sad. That was very unhappy making. So it was the first one I replaced when that happened. Because I was like, I need that lip gloss. The next one, I waited a while to replace the other ones. The third one in particular, because of reasons that we'll get into. But the second formula I did eventually re-up, not nearly as soon as I did the REM one, was the Makeup on Mario glosses. I know people have mixed opinions about these because they're so sheer. I had the shade Midnight Mauve. I had made a really decent dent in it at the time that Cold Sore Gate happened. I was really sad to let it go. I was like, I really enjoy this formula. It's kind of one of those ones you keep in your purse and you can reapply it at your leisure throughout the day and not really have to worry about it because it's very sheer. So you don't have to worry about it looking messy as you're popping it on. And it is like a gloss, as glosses go, it is more like a glossy texture. It has a little bit of a grip to it. I don't want to say stickiness, but it's got a lightly tacky consistency. You know when you apply it, it's going to stay put, and it does stay put. I don't feel as much of a need to reapply this formula as I would maybe the REM one, because the REM one is very balmy, right? So I have the shade Midnight Mauve, which was the first shade I had, so I replaced that. And then I also did pick up Berry, and I've been really loving this Berry shade in the fall and winter. Really lovely, just like glass-like shine on the lips. Really enjoy. I would recommend that formula, 100%. I really enjoy that. The last formula, the one I waited I actually very fairly recently finally was like, fine, okay. I had a tube of Fenty Beauty lip gloss in the shade Fussy that I was like halfway through when this happened, but I wasn't reaching for it because I swear Fussy was my favorite lip gloss. Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb OG formula in the shade Fussy was my #1 gloss pick for years and years and years, as long as the Fussy shade has existed. I swear to God they've changed this color. It's not a cool, dusty, rosy shade like they're still saying it is. Like, this is a warm pink. I am not tripping out. The color is not the same. And also, I was annoyed and not reaching for this gloss at the time because the component kept aggressively leaking. Just leaking everywhere. I had to take it out of my purse because there was lip gloss all over everything in my purse. So I was really annoyed. So then Cold Sore Gate happened and I had to throw out my tube of my half-used tube of Fussy. And I was like, well, that's fine, because I'm not going to repurchase that fucking gloss again anyway, because I was so irritated about the whole thing. The whole situation, the Fussy situation. I did pick up Rose Amber. I've been tempted by this shade since they came out with it in the lip oil formula, but I don't super love the Fenty lip oil formula. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't love it. So when they came out with it in the lip gloss formula, I was tempted. I was tempted. And I did give in. And when I did purchase Rose Amber, I did also throw in a tube of Fussy because I was like, you know what? Fucking whatever. Rose Amber has surpassed Fussy as favorite shade in the OG Gloss Bomb formula. Original recipe Gloss Bomb. I've been wearing this. You can't even tell. I can tell if I look super close up. You can't tell, sorry. But I've been wearing this so much. It's like a beautiful, cool taupe with almost like a fun purpley shift to it. It's a beautiful, beautiful lip gloss shade. If you're a cool tone girly, I feel like this is the cool toned alternative to their hot chocolate shade of the lip gloss that everyone loves so much. Adore. Really adore that. And I will say, yes, this formula was my favorite formula for years and years and years. I have a new lip gloss formula. That's the last gloss formula we're gonna talk about in this. We're getting to it. We're getting to it. But those are the 3 gloss formulas I had to bring up because of Cold Sore Gate. Another brand I tried for the first time this year that I've primarily fallen in love with the lip products from is Mob Beauty. Here's a gloss. Here's a gloss. I have their lip gloss in the shade Diamond Star Halo, which is just a transparent base and a shit ton of golden sparkle. Love, like a light gold, not like a warm gold. You know, like a white gold sparkly gloss. I love a sheer sparkly gloss. And again, this has that liquefied, balmy consistency to it. I will say the sparkle particles in this one, and I think a little bit in the Kaleidos one that I talked about earlier, you can kind of feel them on your lip. I don't want to say they're gritty. I think that would be being dramatic. But you might feel a little bit of itty bitty little shimmer particles on your lips in both those formulas. But they're really quite comfortable otherwise. If you find you have sensory issues with that kind of thing, I just thought it was worth giving you fair warning about. It doesn't bother me. But. And then also from Mob Beauty, I have 7 of their lipsticks. 2 of them are frosts and the other 5 are soft matte. I'm not going to worry about swatching them all out or anything right now because I think I want to do an updated Mob lipstick swatching video in the new year, in the very near future. So keep an eye out for that. But my 2 most worn shades by far are M166, which is actually on the inner portion of my lips today. It's part of my lip combo today. And M95. Lastly, for the lips, there is one honorable mention, but I'll just briefly mention that at the end. Last actual honest favorite in the lip category, my new favorite gloss formula as of earlier this year, and to beat out the Fenty Gloss Bomb formula that's been my #1 pick for years and years and years, is No Easy Feet. So this is a well-deserved win. The Haus Labs, what's the full name of these? PhD Hybrid Lip Glaze, and I have 3 of the shades. The first one I got was Macaron, which is just a beautiful, soft, cool pink, and then I picked up the shades Persimmon, which looks, when you look at it online, looks like it's going to be quite red. It's really not. It's really almost kind of like a nice toasty nude shade on me, to my eye. It's not quite like a My Lips But Better shade. It's like a My Lips But Enhanced shade. There's just like a kind of toasty rosiness. It's not like a super red one. And then the shade Fig, which has been my absolute favorite lately. These are so gorgeous. Just smooth, glassy pigment. They're not like smooth and they're not though. They're such an interesting, hybrid is a good word to have in the name of these. They're such an interesting combination of elements, such an interesting, super comfortable texture. And they just make your lips and they really do feel like they're treating your lips as you're wearing them, like as they kind of fade off. And they do take a while to fade off, even though they're really not sticky at all. They're completely non-sticky. But they are very glazy, in fact. Just really cushion the lips. Leave your lips like soft and supple and hydrated after they've worn away. I love them. There's always one of these and one of the Makeup by Mario ones in my bag more often than not to reapply throughout the day at work. Love these so much. Just like such a beautiful, pillowy, cushiony, hydrating formula. Highly recommend. Haus Labs in general, I've been so impressed with since their rebrand. Obviously, they had a lot of wins in Best in Beauty 2025. They've consistently been on my radar for the last couple years. So I'm really happy with my experience with the brand thus far. These lip glosses, if you pick up nothing else from the brand, bearing in mind I do deeply enjoy their base products in particular. The concealer, the foundation's great. Foundation's lovely. The concealer specifically, could not recommend more. If there's only one thing you pick up from this brand, let it be the lip gloss. Pick your favorite shade, pick it up. I don't think you'll regret it. One honorable mention for the lips, because I've only worn it twice, but I would feel silly not to mention it, is Blue Tears from the May Pang collab with Blend Bunny. She's one of my favorite creators. She's one to watch if you're not already, and she had the coolest collab with Blend Bunny this year, and we're going to get into the other products that were part of that too. But I wanted to give a shout out to the lip glaze. It's got a soft black base, and it's just loaded up with blue to purple shifting sparkle. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful product. Let's get into eyes. I have a stack of eyeshadow palettes next to me. But first let's talk about eyeliners, because I mentioned earlier I tried ColourPop cream gel liners for the first time this year. I have 4 of the shades. I have Swerve, which is the black, Brouhaha, which is the brown, but it's like the cooler brown, the ever so slightly deeper cool brown, not the other brown they have that is just too warm for me, personally, for my personal taste. I don't want a warm brown eyeliner. And then I have Joyride, which is like a deep maroon, and Charmer, which is honestly also kind of a deep maroon. I was expecting it to be more of a plum. It's got a very red undertone. So these, honestly, to me, they look a little similar to each other, actually, on the eye. Joyride is more noticeably red. But to me, these are both kind of like we've got a deep maroon, and I would call this one, if anything, like a deep kind of burgundy. Not so much a plum, but a burgundy, which is nice too. I love dark reds and just like deep red and purpley tones around the eyes. I love, love, love so much. These are really nice. I also have 2 shades of the Hung Van Gogh gel, the Longwear gel eyeliners. I got the shade Up to You, which is a beautiful, cool purple, and, surprising to no one, A Lot of Love, which is a red, like a true red eyeliner. And if you came here from Instagram, you know how I feel about red eyeliner. Red in the waterline, a little red wing. Come the fuck on. I was like, he made that for me. He made these eyeliner colors specifically for me. He launched his makeup line this year, and I was so glad to see it. This is the only product I've tried so far from the brand, but and they're in this list for a reason. These are both like gel eyeliners. This is a cream gel eyeliner hybrid, and I do think it applies as such. This one does kind of glide on a little more smoothly than the Hung Van Gogh one does, but I would argue that the Hung Van Gogh is a sturdier formula. It'll go on more sheer at first, it needs some building up, but once you have it where you want it, pigment-wise, it's not budging. It's going to last you really, really well. This one will go on super smooth and super pigmented from the start, but I do think ultimately the ColourPop ones don't last as long. Definitely not as long as these guys do. But I notice fading with both because I have quite watery eyes, and even with the precautions that I take with my eyes, like to get the waterline as dry as possible before I apply eyeliner, they've got some moisture to contend with, so I'm going to see fading no matter what. I do think ultimately Hung Van Gogh holds up a little better than ColourPop, but the ColourPop ones have decent lasting power as well. It's just if I'm splitting hairs, that's where I'm at with those. You get more impact up front with ColourPop, but you get better wear time out of Hung Van Gogh, which makes sense because these were formulated by a makeup artist. So there's that. Those are both great. I'm gonna do mascara last because we have to get through the eyeshadow situation. Oh my god, a stack of madness next to me. Let's start with the honorable mentions. One of them is on my eyes right now. Hello. Bella Beauté Bar Vamp. God. Bella Beauté Bar, you can't really go wrong with. If there's a color story that speaks to you, specifically, that you want to pick up, go ahead. I doubt you'll be disappointed. The quality of their shadows is incredible. I love this color story. Do I feel like it's like a complete, perfect, rounded out color story? Maybe not. I feel like there are some more we could have done with some more like transitional kind of shades maybe. But ultimately they gave me reds and blues and purples, and they also gave me like desaturated gray tones, and they gave me a black packed with red sparkle, like in a vampire theme palette. Like, come on. And the shade names. The shade names, actually. Let's see if I can give you a good view so you can appreciate that. The references. Come on. What a fun palette. What a beautiful formula. What a great brand. Highly recommend. And the other honorable mention is one that should have been my favorite eyeshadow palette of last year, but I didn't get it into my hands until the early part of this year. I was able to get it with a gift card from my mama. But I had to wait for it to be back in stock before I could actually use the gift card to buy it. You guys saw me do a 5 Looks 1 palette with Fantasy Cosmetica's Harvest of Souls palette. I can see why this was so many people's #1 eyeshadow pick last year. Oh my god. Fantasy Cosmetica's formula, in general. I do feel so bold as to say, officially, without a doubt, Fantasy Cosmetica has my favorite eyeshadow formulas. Their mattes are fucking superb. Just a dream to work with, and all the different textures, finishes, the variety of shimmer you can get from just this one palette from them. But if you were to get like a couple of their 9 pans or something, gorgeous, gorgeous formulas across the board. And it's like with each new release, they just get better and better. I have actually 5. I was going to say 4, but it's actually 5 because we do have another Fantasy Cosmetica palette to talk about later. That came out this year. I have 5 Fantasy Cosmetica palettes now. And I deeply love every single one. They're always a joy to work with. And, you know, if there was one in it would be really hard. It would be really hard for me. It would hurt my feelings a little bit to pick just one indie brand to recommend to you to try. But if I had to, I'm probably going Fantasy Cosmetica. That's just like my opinion, man. Anyway, beautiful palette. Love, love, love. Let's get into some wild cards, maybe. I have a couple. I have a couple from like 2 pretty different, they're like different but the same kind of brands. And I think if you're in the know, you'll know what I mean when I say that. 2 IP collabs that were like surprisingly good. I want to start off by giving ColourPop credit where credit is due. Everybody clap for ColourPop. They did good. They did a good job. They did a good IP collab. I'm really proud of them for the color story they pulled together for this one. It's so fun. It's like, it perfectly balances that like less saturated, I don't want to say completely desaturated, but like less saturated grungy the grungy Shreky elements with like the pops of green and like the gorgeous shimmers. And as ColourPop palettes go, we all know that they vary in quality. This is the good quality. I'm very happy to say. I think at this point this is the only ColourPop palette I own. I was like surprised with myself that I wanted to get it, but I'm glad I did. You know? Along similar lines, and this is a brand that I do think consistently does IP collabs better than ColourPop might. It really depends on the IP with ColourPop. It's really interesting to see which IPs they're clearly passionate about doing well. But Glamlight consistently does pretty good work with the IPs. I know that between palettes, the quality might vary because they have like different warehouses or whatever. I do think my experience personally with their eyeshadow formula and the palettes that I've gotten from them, I have this one and 2 others, one of which I haven't dipped into yet. Shame pile. Good quality, very good. And I was really proud of them with this collab in particular because this color story is so different for them. Every other piece from the Lord of the Rings collection, all the lip kits and the side, the extra pieces that they did had me like, what the fuck is that? I thought a lot of them were just so ugly. And could not have been less interested in picking any of those up. But this palette, the palette was the last thing they revealed, and that was a good move because every other piece from that collection had me going like, no, glam light, no, I don't want that. And then they revealed the palette, and it's stunning, and it is really quite different for them. And I think just generally, just such a fun mix of tones. Lovely, lovely. I will say I did experience quite a bit of mushiness, quite a bit, a little creasiness from the shimmer in here that I did dip into. I have some more playing around to do with this one, but I wanted to call it out in Best of Beauty because I think it was a really, really well executed collaboration and really fun and different for them. So I wanted to call those collabs out specifically, even if I haven't used them as much. I have a deep appreciation for them anyway. We have a lot of creator collabs in this category as well. I did get from the Blend Bunny and Ellis Atlantis Volume 2 collection, the Imperial palette, which is the broken down cool tone shades. Deeply enjoy. Love, love, love these tones. This is an easy kind of everyday palette for me, for sure. Oh, Glaminatrix. I have the grounded version, but you might know it as Tones of Turd, which is the version I gifted to my mother, as you might recall if you were here for that video. I mean, toasty, earthy, mustardy, beautiful, beautiful color story. Need I say more? In the nice, like, leathery packaging. Love, love, love. Gourmand Girls. Come to the front. The brand that I tried out for the first time this year, and I delved as deep into their products as I possibly could. I actually have 4 of their palettes. The 4th one I have not gotten to dip into yet, much to my shame. Obviously, we got some work to do in the new year on the unused palettes front. But these are the 3 I've been able to test out since picking them up. And come on now. Trapped, you guys saw me do a 2 looks 1 palette with. Lovely. Love it so much. Bitten, their Valentine's Day release from earlier this year. Oh, God, they just really know how to curate a color story, you know? Which is kind of what you hope for with any brand doing eyeshadow palettes. But I mean, they in particular, for whatever reason, something just really gels, you know? Gourmand Girls knows how to do a color story. Mocha Moment, the one you guys would have seen me use most recently, features a pop of green because mocha was not actually the color of the year. There's actually also this deep olivey green down here too. Any and all shades of green, I think, was the color of 2025, not mocha mousse. Give me a fucking break. The people crave green. We want more green. So I just thought it was really funny that the mocha palette had a pop of green in it. Really lovely formulas across the board. There is like a slight difference in quality in Bitten versus these other 2, I noticed. Not like it's worse than the other 2 or anything's better. Anyone is better than the other. Just I think that the mattes, the powders are a bit, and it could just be because of the tones and the pigments that they're working with, right? These feel a little bit drier. Not like they're chalky or like anything like that. They're still lovely to work with. They almost kind of go on more, everything kind of almost goes on more sheer. Needs a little bit more pushing around, a little bit more building up, but still lovely. Whereas these guys give you a little bit more punch from the jump. The Trapped palette was the first one from them that I tried, so that might be skewing my perspective a little bit because this one is just so Oh my god, what a dream. Love them. Very happy with my experience with Gormon Girls this year. Wicked Widow. American Psycho. Another one you guys saw me do a 5 looks 1 palette with. And I do think that is going to consistently be a series on the channel, or at least just some iteration of multiple looks with 1 palette kind of going on. I think all my ongoing eyeshadow-centric content will follow that kind of format, because I think it's fun, and it's not like I'm not reinventing the wheel there. It's very common in beauty content, but oh, what a fun collaboration. Love it. I do think quality-wise, I do prefer the Crow palette from them, which you guys saw me do a few looks with on Instagram in, was it 23 or 24? I think it was 24. It was 24. 2024. Quality-wise, I do probably prefer that one, but this one's still just hella fun. Ironically enough, I was just so happy with my experience using the neutral rose, the neutral shades in this palette. But oh my god, Vein is such a beautiful, glistening, sparkly top coat. The red and the pink make my heart so happy. What a fun collab. I am so excited to see the full deal with their upcoming Rocky Horror Picture Show collection. By the way, how could I not be, you know? Let's talk about Blend Bunny's collab with May. We have the Rotten palette, which is an all matte palette. Let me show you actually the cover, the art. It's like raised, and it's like actually fuzzy. This whole collection was inspired by rot and decay and mold. So there's like mold, fuzzy mold on the front of the palette. I love it. I love it. So it's so unhinged, and I love it. This is the color story. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And they also did do a little 6-pan iridescent palette to accompany. This is the efflorescence palette. Also, the letters are like raised. It's just a nice, I love a packaging detail, you know? And these are gorgeous, sparkly goodness. What a beautiful, beautiful, fun, interesting, creative collab. I love that. Had to shout that out. Dewdrops Part 2. Really love these as well, since we're talking about 6-pan iridescent sparkly shifters. I did a swatching video with this earlier in the year. And I don't have Dewdrops Part 1. For whatever reason, Dewdrops Part 2 just drew me in more. And now that I have Efflorescence, which I think is a lot of similar tones to Dewdrops Part 1, I feel fine with that choice. I do. But I do enjoy this formula, and I do enjoy the effect that these have on the eyes and the skin, actually. I did swatch a couple of them as highlighters. Is that generally how I would wear them? Probably not. But if you wanted to, you could. And the same actually goes for these. So fun little versatile, sparkly, shimmery shadows for you. The other Fantasy Cosmetica palette we have to talk about that just has the most immaculate vibes, okay, is their collab with Batty Bean. This is the Witch's Familiar palette. I realized when I did the 2 looks 1 palette with this that I didn't let you guys read the poem on the back, so what if I just read it to you? Okay. Hide away and hide again from prying eyes and wicked men. In twilight's arms and cauldron's glow, we gather here where none may know. Our familiars, watchful, swift and sly, they guard the path with glowing eye. A silent pact, our souls unite, our bond is sealed in deepest night. How fun. What fun packaging overall. My goodness. And then the color story. Again, you're giving me blues and reds and purples. You give me red eyeshadow, and I'm gonna be happy. You give me a deep dark blue eyeshadow, and I'm gonna be happy. The Moonlight shade? The Moonlight shade is so fucking beautiful. When I used it in that video, I legitimately was like, and it seems so silly because it's just kind of like a nice, kind of more sheer, light, seafoamy teal, but you layer it, you put it on in general, but specifically if you layer it over potion, it looks like your eyelids are just like, it doesn't look like you have a shimmery eyeshadow on. It looks like your eyelids are just like glowing. It's incredible, beautiful, 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 magical. Love so much. Love so much. The last eyeshadow palette I have to talk about is also a creator collab, and it is with Bella Beauté Bar and Nupur. This is the Coalescence palette. This is just so exactly just perfection, is it not? I really love pairing purples and pinks, and I really love pairing purples and greens, and I really love pairing pinks with greens. And I love that there are also other like really nice desaturated neutrals. I really love, oh my god, it's so, it's so perfect. I also did a 2 looks 1 palette with this, because how could I not? She's just so lovely. I used Aries to do like a really fun, smoky burgundy wing that I love so much. It was easily my favorite part of that look in particular. The second look I did with the palette is actually my favorite of the 2. I really love that one. You get such a great variety of tones and textures to dip into while it all still feels very cohesive. You can do all kinds of looks with it, and yet it makes sense. The coalescence really is coalescing. Good job. Couldn't be happier with that. And the last thing to talk about for eyes, the last thing to talk about in this video, is actually, I think I have amended from a favorite to an honorable mention, because my most recent use of it made me go like, what? The first tube I had of the Mob mascara was great and gave me no problems and reminded me so much of my favorite mascara, which is the Ritual de Fille mascara. That's the mascara I'm wearing today. It's the mascara I'm wearing a lot of the days. It is the best. It is the best. I have 2 backups of it in my backup drawer because it's that good. Highly recommend. Again, I recommend pretty much anything from Ritual de Fille if you're looking to pick them up. They're just one of my favorite brands. But if you pick nothing else up from the brand, pick up this mascara. It is the best mascara. And the Mob Beauty one reminded me of it so much. It was maybe a little bit more wet in formula. It took a little bit longer to dry down, but then once it was dry, it was good. It was good. This second tube, I'm not so sure of, because the last time I wore it, I'd had it on for a bit, and then I looked at myself in the mirror and there were crumbles. Flaky little crumbles all over, all down my cheeks. And I was like, what's happening? What is happening? And I don't know if I got one from an old batch or what happened. I think what happens with this formula, and the reason why it's so wet to start out with, is because if it gets too dry, it gets crumbly and flaky. And that's not my favorite. I mean, it is what it is. Mascara is going to do what mascara is going to do. But it was at such an alarming rate that I wasn't expecting, because that just did not happen to me at all with the first tube, at all. So I don't know, man. Currently unclear, but when it's good, it's really good. You know? When it's good, it's fucking fantastic, but when it's not, it's like, what are you trying to do to me? So I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll pick up another tube of it to keep playing with and see if it does me dirty like that again, but again, I have this, and I have 2 backups of this. So I don't really feel like I'm gonna feel a need to buy another mascara anyway. You know? All I'm saying is, bear that in mind if you're going to try the Mob Beauty mascara, because I know I have recommended it before when people have asked me about it, and I have mentioned before really enjoying it. I have now delved into a second tube, and now I'm just not sure. So proceed with caution is all I'm saying. So yes, it has been demoted to honorable mention because it can be really great, but I guess it depends on what tube you wind up with. I don't know what that's about. At its best, it does remind me of my favorite mascara. So points to it on that front, because this really is the best. This really is the best mascara. I'm not kidding. Okay. Wow. I can't believe we actually got through. We're actually at the end of the video. This is probably the most products I've ever had to talk about in one sitting. Ever. Holy shit. So hopefully you enjoyed all that. Thank you so very much for being here, by the way. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to hang out with me. That's super cool of you. I hope you guys are having an excellent, warm and fuzzy holiday season. And am wondering if you're as excited to see 2025 end as I am. Being able to do this was definitely a bright spot for me. I uploaded more this year than I think I ever have. I uploaded, I think, more than twice as many videos this year as I did in the year I started this channel, which was 2020, which is insane. That's kind of crazy to think about, actually. And I could have uploaded more. There were going to be more, but then the depression was depressing, so I didn't get to film all the videos I wanted to. But I'm looking forward to what the new year brings, and I'm looking forward to doing more of this. So, once again, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to let me know down below what some of your favorite products this year were. They didn't have to be new releases this year or anything. And just anything that sparked joy. Be sure to tell me about down in the comments. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy, and again, having a wonderful holiday, whatever holiday it is you celebrate. Next time you guys see me, I will be 29. I turned 29 on December 31st. So I will be 29, and my hair will be a different color because I am going to start phasing back to something close to my natural hair color. The red was fun for a year, but it has to stop, at least for the time being. I will be back with all the fun new updates in the next video, which I will get up as soon as I can. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break for the rest of December, at least. It's still mid-December when I'm filming this. No, it's not. It's December 20th. It's December 21st. It's December 21st. Wow. I have no time. I have to stop because I have to start editing everything. So, thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. I'll see you back here for the next one very soon. Bye. Everything's falling over. This is such a disaster already. I am coming before you once more with my hair up, even though it shouldn't be, because it doesn't look good when it's up. I don't look good with my hair up. But whatever. Blech. Anyway, hello. Is there lipstick on my teeth? Out of curiosity. I know that for some people duos aren't a thing, so I'd also be interested in the realm of creams and powders. Let's talk about, whoops. The other Fantasy Cosmetica palette we have to talk to.